And hopefully they won't have to use it anytime soon, Sean.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're getting closer and closer to that time of year. We're already there for many areas of the West, and a few fires have popped up. Luckily for us, though, of course, along the coast, we do have some marine layer out there. A little bit of influence, still kind of hovering out by the Channel Islands. Looks like visibilities, though, are really good, and we're seeing actually some nice clear weather as we head toward the latter half of the afternoon and more toward evening. Temperatures did drop a little bit. We actually thought we'd see more warming today, but it wasn't quite as pronounced. Definitely inland areas well to our east, still dealing with a lot of heat. And I know that the East Coast, if anyone has any relatives or friends back there, they are really sweltering under heat and humidity. For us, though, just boy, look at that, about as good as it gets. If our low had cooperated, we would have nailed it. Rarely ever do we actually hit our norms right on the head, but this is about as close as it gets. And the same story for Santa Maria. Your low was just a little bit warm. That's probably because you had more marine layer lingering a little longer, and it kind of kept you just a tad bit warmer overnight, whereas clear air will allow you to cool off a bit more. Santa Barbara again today, 76. Look at that, 68 for Ventura. Ojai, 91. One of the warm spots of the region. Paso Robles also at 91 degrees. Well off where they could easily be this time of year, into the triple digits, but nothing like that happening right now. Lompoc at 69, and Pismo a little on the cool side at 64 degrees. I want to point out Morro Bay, you only had a 4-degree temperature change all day. Started at 57, went to 61, and that's about it. So really interesting weather that you just don't get much in the way of swings. Currently seeing really the only thing we're going to watch closely will be right here around the Gaviota coast. Did mention at the top of the show we do have some wind issues popping up in Southern California, mainly east of LA up into the high deserts. So for us, this will be our zone that we'll have to keep an eye on. Right now we're seeing just little hints of a sundowner as your humidity values start to drop a little bit. Could actually see the temperature in Gaviota go up actually as the sun goes down, because that does happen as it goes over the mountain. You get compressional heating and you get the drying effect, and that's because of the compression, the pressure of the atmosphere weighing down on it, so it dries things out. Big area of high pressure beginning to meander a little bit more to the east, so they get the heat in the East Coast, especially the Northeast. We start to see just more mild weather, so quiet and very seasonal. Our weather story is, you could say it's boring, or you could say it's wonderful, depending on what you like, but it's really nothing to be too worried about. We don't see any big shocks to the system, just coastal fog, mild conditions for the most part. You go inland, you do get warm, but not overly warm. Now, monsoon is beginning to rear its head. We may see some of these clouds getting into eastern California and then all the way to the West Coast. By the end of next week, we'll have to wait and see on that, but that's something that does pop up this time of year. Now, as far as marine layer for tomorrow morning, there it is. Pretty widespread. It looks like maybe the Gaviota coast, because of that offshore effect, won't be too foggy throughout the day. Actually, might actually be clear all day long. Marine layer might linger into the afternoon, and then we expect another repeat of that on Tuesday. Again, the wind issue is really the only weather concern tonight. You can see now, watch what happens when I go 24 hours out, or at least close to that. Tomorrow night, we see the winds going up a little bit more, so there's a decent chance we could see a low-end wind advisory, and it will be very localized for right here along that sliver of coastline, and probably more of a concern for drivers. Unexpectedly hitting those winds, getting broadsided by them, can be a little disturbing. There are your temperatures on Monday, and as we kick it up and push it toward Tuesday, we see a similar pattern, but it looks like, again, Gaviota kicking it up again, so maybe we'll see a couple more days of those offshore northerly winds. And there's your forecast for your area. Again, going to watch the wind for Santa Barbara South Coast, especially the farther west you go from Goleta. All areas beautiful, 60s and 70s, 80s as you go a little bit farther inland, and a few 90s popping up on the map. With that beach fog, you're keeping you nice and mild by the coastal areas. You go inland, of course, no fog influence, and it gets a lot warmer. Surf, unfortunately, remains really dismal. It should start to pick up as we head toward the end of the month. We're expecting a change in the southern hemisphere, which is really our lifeline for waves. And there are your forecast maps for Santa Barbara. Santa Ynez, look at that, really quiet. We see a little warming coming late in the work week toward next weekend. Otherwise, just a marine layer giving way to hazy sunshine by the afternoon. If you want the warmth, you go inland. If you want to stay on the mild, cool side, you stay by the beaches. We'll be right back in just a minute. Please stay tuned.